You're listening to The Pivot Point, where we unpack the defining moments that shift careers and lives. I'm your host, Laura Dionisio, founder of Lead Intact, and my mission is to spotlight the raw, real stories behind career pivots, the fears, the hopes, the messy middles, and the bold decisions that follow. If you're feeling stuck or quietly wondering what's next, I hope these stories help you see yourself a little more clearly and inspire you to start moving toward your own dream life. Let's begin. What happens when you make a huge pivot and then you realize, oh, this ain't it? Here's the thing. We're often taught, or at least I was, that you kind of get like one big thing, one big shebang, and then you're like, oh, been there, done that. I have found this to be especially true for my clients who, let's say, like late 40s to mid 50s or so, when they're like, oh, I'm at the tail end of my career. Like, it is not time for pivot. Here's the thing. We are ever evolving humans. And if you are the kind of person who strives to continuously be growing, and you are, I can tell because you're listening to this podcast, then of course, it's possible that you have another pivot coming. So I want to share a story. I have pivoted a lot, even in my corporate career. So yes, I mostly stayed in engineering, but it was in different spaces. I went from government to private sector, and then I left engineering for a bit. So I did a lot of pivoting. And I will admit, with each pivot, it seemed like, okay, this is it. I'm going to stay here. But then when I was at a job where I genuinely really cared about the project, I was really passionate about it. I was a team lead. I cared about my teammates. I really believed in the mission of what we were doing. I really believed that it was going to change the world in our sphere of where that industry was. And, I got accolades, recognition, that kind of thing. And one day when I was at a business meeting, a coaching business meeting, because at the time I had already started Lead Intact as a side project, like as a passion project, side business, that kind of thing. I just was hit with a sudden realization that even as much as I loved my day job, my corporate job at the time, I still enjoyed coaching more. And in fact, the model that I was currently living with the corporate job being my full-time job and Lead Intact being a side job, I wanted it to be flipped, if anything. I wanted my business to be my full-time focus and then maybe do some engineering on the side. And can I be honest with y'all? Let me be real. Let me be so real. At this point, just to give you like some background of where I was, context of where I was at the time in my life, I had been coaching, I had been in the personal development space for probably like 10 years at that point, something like that. Maybe not quite, maybe like 8. And I had had my own business at that point for 3 years or something like that, 2-3 years. I didn't handle it well. So I just want to say, if this has happened to you where you pivoted in your career, in your life, and it was your dream life for a while, and then suddenly you have this realization that's hitting you real hard like a freaking Mack truck, it did not feel nice, right? I think there is a narrative out there that your calling just calls to you, right? Or maybe it's like a soft voice, or maybe you just one day wake up and you're like, I'm done. And look, I'm not making fun of that because honestly, there have been certain pivots in my life where it has felt like that. That was not the case. This time it hit me. It was like, I don't want to do my engineering career as a full-time job anymore. I'd rather work on my business. And my immediate reaction was panic. Okay. So listener, if this is you, hey, I've been there, done that, may do it again. And what I ended up doing was like, despite all the training I've had, I gave into it, immediately called my mentor, immediately left a voice. Here's how crazy I got. Left a voicemail, text messaged, and then had like a full-on freak out via email. Okay. Luckily, my business mentor had good boundaries and was just like, you can bring it up in a call if this is still something that you would like to share with the group. Now, I share this because that's not what I would recommend. Like if I could talk to myself, here is what I would say. 1, whatever your immediate reaction is, For me at that time, it was panic. Walk away for a hot moment, okay? Don't take any action from that space of panic. In my case, I definitely took action. I called people, emailed, whatever. Go for a walk, go meditate, go journal, get a glass of water. Just let the feeling pass. Did you know that it takes 90 seconds to fully process a thought? The only reason it can last longer is if you are then having conversations with that, or if you're like continuously cycling through that particular thought. Okay? 90 seconds. Get grounded. From a place of being grounded, present, calm, or at least like a less state of panic, then you can ask yourself, okay, what would I like to do with this newfound knowledge? And the first thing I'd invite you to do is to first express gratitude, right? First of all, how cool. How many of us are like, I don't know what I want? I've said that. I've said that not that long ago. I don't know what I want. So even if it may feel like a bucket of cold ice water thrown at your head unexpectedly, still thank you. Thank that part of you. Thank you, heart. Thank you, subconscious, for offering up this truth of what I really desire. Thank you. So express gratitude. Now, what I've observed, the next question comes up after this is like, oh my God, should I do it? What should I do? And that honestly is what incited the panic, for me at least. Rather than ask the question of should I do this, because should I do this implies there's multiple nestled questions underneath that actually. I suggest breaking it down a little bit. Number one, do I want this? Do I want it? Not how would I make it happen? What would I have to give up? What would people think? What the fuck am I doing? Right? Just do I want this? You don't have to do, and this is what being grounded will allow you to understand. You don't have to do anything about it. We're just kind of like in a fact-finding mission, okay? Do I want it? The answer is probably yes, because otherwise it wouldn't have come up. Okay. Can I do this? This is important because it's totally possible that fear is the only thing that's stopping you. It is also very possible that logistics is not available to you right now. So without having any sort of attachment to what the answer is to can I do this, get so honest with yourself. Can I do this right now? Can I do this with time? Can I do this with support? Here's what I love to tell my clients with regards to the can I do this question. For me, and I actually learned this from my dad, the answer is always yes, I can. It's just that there's like different nuances depending on where you are, okay? Like I love the positive mindset of yes, I can. Now, sometimes the answer is yes, I can. I can do it right now. I at least know my first step or who to talk to, that kind of thing. So that is yes, I can. Now, sometimes it's a little bit more hesitant. It's like, yes, I can with some time. So when you get this realization of, oh my God, I hate my fucking job, or oh my God, I really want to start my business, or oh my God, I am in the wrong field, right? If you don't know what the immediate next step is, yes, I can given time is a perfectly valid answer. And what that means is it could mean, let me take some time to sit with this, okay? Like because multiple emotions are coming up. It could mean, let me take some time to fully understand what I actually want. So in my case, this is what I ended up doing. I was like, okay, I'm not at the yes, I can camp. I was like, yes, I can, and I need help and I need time. And so for me, I did an investigation of like, okay, what could my business look like? What is it about my current job do I enjoy? What do I not enjoy? For the things that I don't enjoy, how can I make it better? So like for me, because I knew like I couldn't just quit my job then and there. And then I know like I've talked about when I quit corporate and started my business, it may seem like that was the time that I hadn't already been thinking about leaving corporate. But the truth of the matter is I first realized that I wanted to leave corporate like 3 years before I actually ended up leaving corporate. So I think that context is important because sometimes we see somebody's journey and we think that's the beginning point, but actually it's in the middle, right? And then we compare ourselves. We compare our beginning stages to somebody's middle or somebody's end. So I just want to make it clear before I actually left corporate, the realization first came 3 years ago and I knew I needed time. And so for me, the yes, I can with time, what that time allowed me is to get real with if I really want to switch in my business, what do I know to actually be true? One, yes, I really enjoyed my job and I was so burnt out, like overly responsible for things. Again, this is not like a blame fest. It's just this is what I accepted and took on. And I didn't have anything left to be creative, to start doing different things for my coaching business. And so that's when the decision came for me. I'm like, okay, I think I need to either set some boundaries at work, ask for more support, or I may need to look for a new job. Okay. So, like, I just want to say, I don't believe in making impulsive decisions, impulsive actions. That's not my jam. My jam is grounded decision. Now, your next action may be really fast, and it's okay if it's not. Like, it took me 3 years. Okay. All right. The third answer that I like to the question of can I do this? Okay, so we have yes, I can. Boom. Yes, I can with time. And then third way to answer that is yes, I can with a little help from my friends. What I really mean by that is yes, I can with support. And this is where coaching is really helpful. This is why I do what I do. I love helping people with those types of questions. Like, what do I do next? I just have this realization. And I really believe actually that you can do things by yourself and figure it out and learn. Like, we have chat now, you can ask, it's easier to research things. And I really do believe that you can be successful that way. And having done things by myself and also having done things with coaching support, I'm a huge proponent of going the coaching route. And I'm not just saying that because I myself am a coach. It's because as a coach in this particular field, like, I know these things, right? I know the questions to ask. But when you're in the emotion, when you're in the thick of it, it's really hard to see the forest for the trees, so to speak. So with a coach, you get somebody who can reflect things that you've said, somebody who can offer you insight. And if you're working with somebody like me, someone who give you a framework on how to get real with yourself, how to get honest, and how to identify what it is that you actually want to pursue. And so, yeah, that is what I would recommend. What I really want to emphasize, though, is whether that the big realization of, oh man, the pivot after the pivot comes as like a quiet whisper or like a breath of relief, like, oh, finally, I'm naming the thing that seemed like it was off. Or in the example I gave, it hits you like a big ass truck. I just want to emphasize and really drive the message home that you're allowed to want something without acting on it yet. Please do not act on it immediately. Take some time to sit with it, like assess, is this really what I want, before taking action. You're allowed to sit with it to get a better understanding of what it is that you want. So in my example, the thought, the truth that like dropped real quick, like hit me in the face, was I no longer want to work full time as an engineer and work part time as a coach. If anything, I want it switched. But for me, at least, I really needed to sit with what does that mean though? What could that look like? And also, what would need to happen for me to transition into that? And for me, it meant, okay, less responsibility at work so that I could be less stressed out, allow myself more time and space so I could get the creative juices flowing. It meant me really paying attention to what are the things that I really loved at my job. What did I not like so much? What did I love in my coaching? What are some of the things where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is really me. So for me, like, it took me about 3 years to really sit with that clarity of what it could look like. And please move from a grounded choice, not panic. At the very least, when that truth hits, rather than reacting with panic like I did, I got to do something right now, right this second. Or before you react in denial, oh, that can't be true. Just let the truth, let that statement live in your brain for at least 90 seconds. Write it down somewhere. It's okay. You don't have to take action. And I think that's the biggest sigh of relief that I get from my clients is when I say, just because you have fully acknowledged that you want something doesn't mean that you have to take immediate action out of it. So if this is you and you're like, wow, okay, I have been either panicking about this truth bomb that dropped on me, or you have been in denial about it, or kind of like ignoring the quiet whisper in your brain, I want you to know this. Every choice that you made since that realization dropped was the right one. And every choice you make from this point forward is also the right one. Trust that you are going to get there, wherever there is, even if you don't know where there is yet, and observe how opportunities and ideas and even people and like maybe even jobs come to you. I want to say, just because we live in a fast-paced society where you are often rewarded for fast action, it doesn't mean that you're meant to or that you have to. Take your time, stay grounded, ask for support, and know and trust that you're going to be just fine. In fact, you're going to be golden. If this episode resonated with you, if you would like your own support in gaining clarity for what your next move is, whether it's in your career, life, combination of both, book a free 20-minute call with me. And with that, remember to proceed as if success is inevitable, because it is. I'll catch you next time. All right, friend, that's it for today's drop. If this episode hits something deep, don't just sit with it. Act on it. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it, and then head to www.leadintact.com to grab your free heart-aligned career transition starter or book a free 20-minute call with me. I'm here when you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start moving toward what you really want. Catch you next time.